everyone, this is Parveen. Today we are on the first session of class 8 Geography, Chapter 2, Abiotic Resources, that is land, soil and water resources. In our first chapter, resources, we have learned that what do we mean by resources. We have seen that resources are anything which is around us, which is in our environment, which has a power to satisfy human needs. Those things can be termed as resources. Then in our first chapter we have also seen that we are having two types of resources, that is natural resources and man-made resources. And under natural resources we are having many categories, like we have the on the basis of origin we have biotic and abiotic resources. Then on the basis of development we have developed and underdeveloped resources. Then we have renewable and non-renewable resources. Then potential and actual resources. So we have learned about all these resources. Now in this particular chapter, which is our second chapter, abiotic resources, that is land, soil and water, we are going to learn about the abiotic resources in detail, especially about the land, soil and water, because these three things are very important when we talk about satisfaction of human needs. That is why in this chapter we are going to learn about these three abiotic resources in detail. Now first of all we need to understand what is abiotic resources, which we have seen in our first chapter also. Abiotic resources and biotic resources. On the basis of origin, natural resources can be classified into two, that is biotic resources and abiotic resources. Biotic resources means all the living organism which is there in our environment, which can help to satisfy human needs, are called as biotic resources, like plants, human beings and all the different kinds of species which we have in our environment. And on the opposite, abiotic resources means all the non-living organism which is there in our nature, which tries to satisfy or which we use to satisfy human needs. They termed as abiotic resources, under which we have land, water, soil and many different things which comes under abiotic resources. So over here we are going to learn about the land, soil and water. First we will start with the land resource. Okay, what is land? As we have seen that land refers to, first of all, a simple meaning of land. Land means anything which is above, under or on the land or on the earth, you can say. So basically in a very simple words we can define land as whatever things which is under the earth, above the earth or on the earth is termed as land. Either it is forest, either it is forest, rivers. Okay, and when we talk about soil, soil also comes under land resource. So over here, land resources means anything which is under, above or on the earth. But over here we have an exact definition or exact meaning of land resource, which says it refers to the shape, form and nature of the land surface. The land surface, that means the earth's surface, has a different kind of shape, different kind of form and nature. Shape means we have different shapes of land, like we have plain land, then we have rivers on that land, then we have valleys on that land. So there are different shapes of land. Forms are also different. We have mountains on the land, we have small hill stations on the land. So over here we can say that whatever was there on the land, above the land or under the land, either it is in the form of any shape or any form, it is any shape, it is, or nature of these different things are also different. So all these things comes under land resource, which are there in land surface, either it is on the surface, above the surface or under the surface. So over here we can say that whatever things which are there, either they have any form, either they have any shape or any nature, if they are on the surface of land, under the surface of the land or above the surface of the land, it is termed as land. So all the mineral resources are also termed as land resource. Rivers are also termed as land resource. Soil is also termed as land resource, because all these things are there in the surface of the land, either it is under, above or on the surface. So land resources means anything which is either they have any kind of shape, any kind of form or nature. If they are on the surface of the land, it is termed as, or it comes under land resources. And as we have seen that land is an abiotic resources. Over here when we talk about the land area on earth, as we know that 29% of our earth, 78% of our 79% of our earth is covered with water. That means about 29 to 30% we have a land area, total land area. So over here we can say that land covers about 30% of the total area of total earth surface. Total earth surface is having about 30% of the land area, and 90% of the world total population occupies only 30% of the land area. That means for living purposes or for other purposes, 90% of world's population uses 30% of that land which we are there on the earth's surface. It includes loamy, and when we talk about that 30% of the land area which we have, which is provided by the nature to us or to human beings, it includes many loamy mountains. Mountains are there, flat plains are there, then we also have high plateaus, and we also have islands on that, river valleys are there. So all these comes under the earth surface of the land, which is 30% of the total land area. So I hope you have understand this particular thing, that 30% of the land area of total earth we have, 90% of our population uses the 30% of the land, and that 30% of land comprises of many different kinds of islands, many mountains are there, hill stations are there, plateaus are there, and plain areas are there. Then when we talk about the habituation of land, habituation of land means how much we are using the land, how much we occupy our land as a population. Or 90, when we talk about 90% of population occupies that 30% of land, how much those lands have been occupied, what is the division of the land occupation. As we can say that it is unevenly distributed when we talk about inhabitation of the land. Over here you can see the table. Some lands are less habitated and some lands are highly habitated. That means some areas are there where population is more, and some areas are there where population is less. So we can see that what are those areas. When we talk about less habitated area, it is mountain areas, like in India we have Himalayan mountains having steep slopes and red terrain. That means they are having a light slope in which people are living over there, but in a very less quantity. Population is very less in mountain areas because of the climate, or because of the steep and slopes over there. Then extreme hot and cold region also have a less population. Like Rajasthan is having a less population. When we talk about the cold regions, Andaman Nicobar Islands are there where there is no population is living. Waterlogged areas where there is waterlogged areas, then thick forest areas. In these areas, population is very much less. That means they are the less habitated area. Now, when we talk about highly habitated area, river valleys which has a better water facilities, then plain areas which has a better or fertile soil for agricultural activity, then grasslands like river plains. In all these areas where climate is favorable, where land and soil is favorable for the human beings, on that areas population is more. That is why they are highly habitated areas. So with this distribution, we can say that land is unevenly habitated. And what are the reason of these? Because of the climate, quality of land, availability of water, fertility of land. All these are the factors which affect the habituation of the land, which affects whether the population is more in that particular area or less in that particular area. If a particular area has all these qualities or all these characteristics, then population is more over there. Now when we talk about the land resources or land, how land is used with human beings and what we are using land for. First of all, we can say that first and foremost, the land provides shelter to both living or non-living organisms. That means first of all, we are using the land for living on it, for making our houses on it. So it provides shelter to living organisms also or non-living organisms also. They as natural resources provides all essential products to satisfy human wants. Like agricultural activities are there on human land, then we get natural resources and minerals from the land, we get water from the land. So it satisfies all our essential needs. Agriculture, and when we talk about the use of land, agricultural activities has been conducted on land, forestry is there, mining is there, we build houses on land, we also use land for the commercial purposes, for making buildings and offices on the land. So and all these things are called or termed as land use. That means land use means when land is used for agricultural purposes, grazing animals, making roads, buildings, mining and for forestry. All these comes under land use. Okay, so we have seen that what is the land use, why human beings are, what human beings are using land. Land has been used for different purposes. Like we have seen that it has been used for the living purposes, for making houses, buildings, then for doing agriculture, for grazing animals, for mining, for forestry. And all these are called as land use. Now when we talk about land use, in the whole world we are having different patterns of land use, you can say, or different world has a different percentage of land use with them. Now first we will see what are the different types of land which we have. We have two types of land, that is private land or community land according to the ownership. When we talk about ownership, if the land is owned by an individual or a private person, it is called as private property or it is called as private land, which is used for personal purposes. Like many individuals buy lands to make houses, and many businessmen buy lands to make factories on that, to make for commercial purposes, like you can say for make buildings, for make properties, and for making malls, and you can say for making different for having for using those for making warehouses. So over here you can say that when we talk about private lands, it is owned by private individuals or private owners. That is why it is called as private property or private land. And as they are private property and as that land is private land, it is used for the private purposes, like for privately making our own houses, buildings, or for commercial purposes like making offices, malls and factories and warehouses. So these are termed as private land. Secondly, second type of land is community land, which means the land which is owned by community and which is used for the purpose of welfare of the people. You can say it is used for the common purposes like gathering fruits, like means for farming. Okay, when we have a farming, it is for common purposes, not for the personal purposes. So gathering fruits, vegetables, water lands are also termed as community land. Forest lands which is used for medicinal herbs and many different activities or many different things also comes under community land. So we are having two types of land, that is private land and community land. Now according to these two types of land, we are having different patterns of land. As we have seen that land can be used for agricultural purposes, it can be used for forest, it can also be used for pastures like for grazing animals, for mining, and there are different other purposes also which we can use land, like making houses, offices, buildings for commercial purposes, making parks for entertainment purposes. So different purposes are there, or we can say different uses of land is there. So according to which land has been divided into different patterns, and these different patterns of land, different countries are having different percentage of these patterns of land. Now this will be seen in our next topic, which is land use pattern. Now what is land use pattern? It refers to variation in land use among different nations of the world. Land use pattern means in a world we are having a different nations, and those different nations are having different percentage of land area, and how they are using and which percentage they are using those land areas, that is called as land use pattern. Now in this table you can see that they are having different countries and percentage of area in which they are using their land. Either they are using their land for cropping, for pasture, or either they have forest lands or for other uses like commercial purposes. So over here we have different countries like Canada, China, France, India, Russia, UK, USA, Australia, Brazil, and the whole world. Land which is used for the whole world, like international land when we say. So when we talk about these lands, when we talk about cropland, over here you can see in the countries, India is using more croplands. 57% of Indian lands has been used for the agricultural purposes, which is croplands. Then when we talk about pasture land, in Austria 56% of land has been used as a pasture land. Forest land is used in Brazil more, that is 66%, and other uses of land is more in Canada, that is 52%, because they are using their land for the commercial purposes. So like that, each and every country is having different land use pattern or different percentage of using land in a different manner and for the different purposes. So I hope you have understand this particular topic. In next topic we will see what are the factors which affects the uses of the land. Till then, thank you.